Right, let's turn the power up. That's a bit better. That's at the recommended, I can't see what level it is actually. Oh yeah, minus 1.4 dB on the beacon. So perhaps I can afford another dB. There we go. I don't put it on high power for holding the channel because otherwise things get a bit too warm. Very good evening to you all. Good to have a good number on tonight. It's working. 10 so far. No, 11 so far. So the order I have is G7JTT to transmit first, followed by M0EYT, Jim G0DQH, Rob M0DTS, Sean G8VPG, Terry G1LPS, Colin G4EML, Martin G8KOE, Mike G0MJW, and John not transmitting. Okay, good. So anyway, we've got 10 there, so that's brilliant. Parish notices. The one thing I'd like to say is we're going to run a BATC activity ladder for the next month, starting this Saturday morning and running right through till after the IAARU contest. You should all get an email about it in the next couple of days. There will be an online scoring ladder which we've been testing over the last couple of days and seems to have been working well. So, and contacts through repeaters, contacts through QO-100 and terrestrial contacts all count. It's all about getting people on the air. Right, I'll talk about my various projects when I put it around to other people. But John G7JTT to take it next, please, from G8GKQ in Salisbury.
Right, I think that's there. There we go. Right, good evening all. I actually have something to show you tonight. Many thanks to Rob, of course, and various others, Dave as well, for helping as well. But my Jetson Nano experience now is getting better and better actually, so I'm really quite enjoying it. Let me just try and get the screen a bit more presentable before I start showing you things. So I've been using a long beam for quite a while now, mainly because PCs that I have seem to be struggling with various updates and stuff that happen, and consequently it's things aren't working anymore, to put it bluntly. Anyway, I'm trying to move away from Windows. I like many people getting fed up with it, so I don't really understand Linux very well, but I'm trying my best with it. Anyway, right, so I need to switch camera, which hopefully is going to work. This is going to be off of my phone, so bear with me. Right, so the current setup at the moment is the laptop that you can see the screen there just does OBS now. That's all it does. It's about all it can cope with for some reason. It used to be fine, but the last couple of updates it's just got worse and worse, so I give up. It's just, I'm sure it's Windows trying to make me buy another laptop or something. Anyway, so now I use a little netbook which is there to run Rob's quick tune, and also via a second screen the chat. So that's all that netbook does. But the beauty is now, with the help of a little script from Rob, that's my Jetson Nano screen now. So what we have is down in the bottom here, that's my encoding into H.265 usually, but actually it's doing 264 at the moment. This is just something that basically shows me data, stats, basically temperatures, which is what I'm really interested in. But the really important thing is there's obviously my own picture there, but thanks to Rob, the little script up there now displays the appropriate data, etc. And the nice thing is now, if I just click on one of these other signals, you'll see it all change, and if it goes well, there we go, into that. Click on another signal, and when it gets there, come on, it's not going on. Oh, it's not going to go on that. Anyway, I'll go back onto my own one. So anyway, I don't know why it didn't do the other one, but hopefully it should come back onto mine. So there we go. That's what I've been doing. So let's go back to that screen. So I'm quite pleased because for someone that doesn't understand any of this, I've managed to get it to do it. So the next thing to try and do is to take the data that Rob's Python script gets and see if I can get that to write a subtitle file, in which case I may be able to play that on with the video in Totem video player. Unfortunately, the Jetson won't run VLC yet, so you're stuck with this thing called Totem, which is okay, but it's not brilliant. With regards to the contests, I should try my best, but I'm just about to go 7 days a week, so I don't quite know how that's going to work out yet, but chances are you're going to see a lot less of me now, which might please a few people. Anyway, with that, I should put it back to whoever was next. What does it say on there? Can't remember. Anyway, you'll know who you are. G7 JTT.
This is the primary audio circuit from Mike 0 Echo Yankee Tango. Right, that's enough of that test card. Evening everyone. Hopefully this is all working as expected. I've not been doing too much this week apart from jobs for the missus and not really much in the shack, but I did get some goodies, which are 38 gig microwave link units. Where's my play out? Here we go. And these are basically a transmit and receive pair, of which there are several, and these will be modified, or the receive side will be modified to receive the AlphaSat beacon at 39.4 gig. It's a propagation experimentation payload on basically an Inmarsat satellite. So that's basically it. Been fiddling around with some of the 8.4 gig DSN stuff, and yeah, just usual sorts of activities in the workshop. So I'll keep it short. I think it is round to I think that says DQH next on the list. So I'll pass it round. This is Mike 0 Echo Yankee Tango in Wimborne in Dorset.
Okay, good evening everyone. Jim, G0DQH, and hope everything's okay with everyone. Let me just turn the volume down so I don't hear myself. Okay, problems over the last couple of weeks with the warmer weather. The PA was getting a little bit hot, to say the least, and tonight I've got 14 degrees inside the cabinet, so it's it's behaving itself tonight. So what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks? There's going to be a new PA. So if I can just run this a minute, if you just bear with me. This is the QTH, and all will become apparent in a minute. The shack is the top bedroom that you see, and the cable to the PA actually is higher up down the plastic gutter in there, just on the right as we pass it now, and I will come into the view of the dish and the PA beside it. As you can see, it's a very, very sunny position, hence the problem with heating that I've been having. And so the plan is over the next couple of weeks is to take the PA from there altogether and put a new PA in the garage and run some AVA5-50 coax out to it. So that's basically what's going to happen. With luck, everything will work out all right. So a couple of other things. I managed to find on the internet a Lorenz solar inverter heatsink, and it was fitted with one fan inside. I've put another two blowing and one sucking, if you like, and the PA will fit on the side where you see the copper. That's the driver PA to the right, the small silver box, and that's the bias supply in the little black box to the driver PA. The PA itself I'm not building, I'm actually buying that in, and I'm getting that from Robert in France, F4VSG. So I went in the bank yesterday and paid the money. So it's been posted today, so it should be with me in a couple of days. So that's basically what's happening this end. Another view of the cabinet, and you'll see maybe what the problem I've had. That's when the picture comes back to me, that's it. It's the Namek Lambda power supply is top left. That has an internal fan. There's a large fan on the heatsink on the back of the PA, plus a snail fan blowing air over the PA. A fan on top of the driver PA, and the silver box just above it is the conversion from 26 volts down to 12 to drive the fan. And there is a fan running all the time, pulling air into the cabinet, and another hole, if you like, where the hot air goes back out. But it's getting a little bit too warm down the bottom of the garden, so that's going to be moved. So over the next week or two, that's what's going to happen, and hopefully it'll work out all right. That PA, by the way, was pretty pricey, but I'm sure it'll be worth it. And if you're watching tonight, Robert, over there in France, there you go. Is there anything else I need to show anybody? The signal's holding up well. I can see it coming back down from the satellite, which is good. The other thing that I've been not happy with is the fact that I've got 5 of these Chinese amplifiers driving the PA. There's 3 in the shack, 1 in the garage and another one in the actual power PA. So not sure how I'm going to go around doing that because it's a long run of cable down to the dish. For anyone who hasn't seen this, by the way, Barry in Barnstable, I believe you're watching tonight, G0EYF. This is a view of the Portstone transmitter. And when I find it, the mini tune. That's not the mini tune. That is. So there we are. I think that's about enough from me. The signal's been holding up pretty much okay tonight. And it is heat-related problems. So it's showing 17.5 degrees at the moment inside the cabinet. The sensor sends the information back into the shack here, so it's just gone up to 18. So it's actually looking at the ambient temperature inside the cabinet. So there you go. That's about it from me, I think. Go back to the webcam. And I'll say good evening and pass it on.
Right. Good evening, everybody, and very nice to be on the net again this evening. I've been busy doing various things this week. I'm using the IPTS input to Portstone this evening for the first time on the net, streaming from vMix and via my network. I had quite a bit of trouble with internet this week. I ended up with TalkTalk sending me a new router, which does seem to have fixed the problem, I'm pleased to say. So other than that, main thing is I've built another mini tune, which I said I was going to do last week, and that's finished, and that's working very well. So I'm quite pleased with that. The other thing which I'm going to do, this may or may not work, I think it should work, is I've got this NDI HX camera app working on my iPad, so I'm going to attempt to give you a little tour around the shack here, so that you can see what I've got here. So I'll just switch over. Right, here we go. So okay. Handheld, I'm afraid. That's the dish down in the garden. And my amplifier is in that box in front of it. And you can see that it's covered in silver foil because I've had a little teeth problems as well. And the silver foil is an attempt to reduce the solar gain because this is a sunny spot. Gets the sun from first thing in the morning until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's the outside side of it. Oh dear me, I'm trying to get the zoom to play up. So here's the shack. And hang on. It looks like it's frozen on me, doesn't it? Is it? Hang on a moment. I had a feeling this would work. No, there we go. Something stopped it from working. So something stopped it from working, so sorry about that. we'll have to. It worked for a while, but then it stopped. So there we go. Never mind. Okay, I think it's around to Terry now. G1 LPS to take it to G8 to VPG.
Right then. Yeah, we're working. Okay. Yeah, apologies for that again, everybody. We'll come on to here. Yeah, I had the same problem as last week. I'm using the H.264, 265 HDMI encoder box, and if the sound drops out on the HDMI from your computer, the encoder box stops running. And at the moment I'm not running a quad processor in front of it, so it's causing a few little issues there. So yeah, that's got us out twice. I had it working earlier, but the computer did something, and within the last sort of 45 minutes and it decided to stop working again. So anyway, a few minor issues. Yeah, one comment for who was it? Yeah, it's for John. Yeah, apologies, I haven't replied to that email yet, John, about using QuickTune with mono. I don't really know what the answer is for that. I can't get it working on my main PC for similar sort of errors. But somebody who's been on the net before has run it, but I can't remember his call sign now. He's running it under Linux, the QuickTune, so that's always, it should be possible, but might take a bit of googling to find out what's actually going wrong. Yeah, look quite interesting, those 38 gigs units, Paul. I've got some 38 gig units as well, way up on the shelf, but I've not done anything with them yet. I've got 32. Yeah, I've got some 32 gig ones as well, but I'm using them for 134 gigs multiplying up, so they're kind of in use at the moment. So I'll do a little bit now, and then we'll put a little bit more later on. But we've been playing Langston and 3.4 gigs today. Let's see if I can get a little slideshow up here. Right. So yeah, so we've got a Pluto with a hub and a network adapter and a 5-volt power supply at the top of the mast. I've just put it on a metal plate for now, and it's got some Airspan 4000 boards on there, which I'm using as the receive, preamp and filter, and the transmit, filter and PA stage, and then there's a 5-volt relay on there to yeah, to make everything switch over. And we've got PTT switching via the GPIO from the Pluto, and we managed to really easy QSO with Terry earlier on 3.4 gigs. I've got a little audio clip and video clip here. If I do this, this might work. So it's only like, what, 250 milliwatts into that panel, whatever the panel is. I'm not sure how much gain, what, 15, 17 dB, something like that, over.
You're pinging the S meter.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I can tell there's a little bit of background noise on you, but I don't really know whether... I don't know, it might just be the FM on here. I haven't really played with it that much.
Yeah, it's perfectly usable. It's good. I'm just being critical, you know.
So there we go. Where's the camera? So yeah, we've been playing 3.4 gigs. That seems to work quite nicely over the network at the top of the mast, and the Langston and the Raspberry Pi in the shack, which is kind of where I was wanting to go with the project, or this side of the project. Anyway, there's loads of other bits going on. The only problem is at the moment that it just basically obliterates 2 meters with the noise coming off the unit, but it isn't in a box. it hasn't got any screen network cable, and there's no really good filtering on the power supply yet, so loads to come on that. So there we go. Right, that'll do for now. We'll add a bit more later, I'm sure. Right, on to Terry, G1 LPS from M0 DTS in the group.
Okay. Hopefully everybody's getting this. Apologies about the low power. We've had quite a saga with the amplifier here, and it isn't what it said on the tin. I'm running a couple of stealth amplifiers, which are here, and the
decode off you at the moment, Terry. Signal's there, but no decode.
Okay.
Strong enough, but
right. I'll keep it.
Unfortunately, got the test card at the beginning.
Okay, I'll keep it very short then. I've got my own picture coming back down from the satellite, Rob. Yeah, they're supposed to be 50 watt amps, and they're labelled up as 50 watt amps, but I just couldn't get the power out of them. So on investigation and opening them up, they actually a much lower amplifier, badged up on the outside has been 47 dB each, but in total I've got only 25 watts, so just slightly underpowered, unfortunately. So there's a new amp in the brewing to replace that one, and you heard Rob about the what we've been doing on 3.4. So I've been messing about a lot as well, upgrading my network, etc., a bit like Sean, to get the Langston running smoothly over the network, which as of today it is nicely, and the goal is to get that mass mounted as well, the same as Rob, and be able to run TV and narrowband from the ports down, multiband from the top of the mast, with a few small amplifiers. We've got a nice height advantage here where I'm at, so we don't hopefully don't need too much power, but at least we can get active on most of the bands and have a big player. So on that, I'll keep it nice and short, just in case people aren't seeing us. Around to the next one, G1 LPS in Kirkmaiden, County Durham.
Okay, from G4EML. I didn't get much from LPS, I'm afraid. I kept getting lockups all the time and only short bursts of audio, so something wasn't very happy. It looked like a reasonably strong signal, but really didn't receive very much at all. That was with the Scan and Tune program, so maybe it was better on something else. Yeah, very good evening to everybody. Not a great deal to report this week. Lots of interesting comments from people, and progress all around. Okay, Rob, on the your problems with the encoder box. I had similar problems here. My HDMI sound drops out every so often, and that really does mess up the box. It doesn't cope with that very well at all. I'm seriously thinking of switching it over to using line-in sound. And then feeding that from a sound dongle off of the PC. I think, although that sounds like a backward step, it seems more tolerant that way. It's it's using its own sound encoding inside the box. Then it doesn't seem to cause so many problems. So I think I may switch it over to using the line in, because the HDMI does seem a bit intermittent. Okay, on your work on the Langston as well, it's looking good. It's nice to see people actually having a QSO with it. I had a quick play on QO-100 today on narrowband and had a quick contact just as a test, using it on my, well, coupled in instead of the TV system really. But I had to put a lot of attenuation in. I did trigger the overpower alarm when I first came up, so I had to put about 30 dBs in on the output of the Pluto to bring it down to a decent level. But it did work, and it worked quite well. I've been doing a fair bit on the Langston this week. I've been redoing the way some of the SDR works. I'm going to probably release that next week or in the next couple of days maybe. It doesn't make a lot of difference to the end user experience, but it does release a lot of processing time, because at the moment the receiver and transmitter are running all the time, even if you don't need them. Or I've managed to make it so that I can switch the receive or transmit power size off. Yes, Mike, I have got power adjustment. You can have all the way down to minus 80 dBs now, which is not a lot of power at all, but it does seem to be quite good. It's actually quite a good attenuator on the Pluto. It seems to be fairly good 1 dB steps. Well, in fact, it's less than 1 dB. In fact, I think they're quarter dB steps. It certainly seems to work quite well. As I haven't implemented the PTT yet, but obviously Rob's got it working, so I'm hoping to add that in, and then I shall release the new version. Not a great deal more than that, I don't think. I have been playing with a new audio dongle here, so hopefully my sound has got a little bit less background noise than it had in previous weeks. It looks a bit better than it did. So I've gone over to a slightly more expensive. Got a slightly more expensive USB sound adapter on the TV side, and it seems to work quite well. So a little bit more expensive than the £3 ones. They're about £8, I think. But I shall try that on the Langston as well. See if it makes the same difference. Right, I think that's about it from me. I shall put it over to who was next. I think what's on my list? KOE, I think, was next on my list. So round to you from G4 EML.
Just working good. I haven't really done a lot compared to everybody else. Seems to be busy, although I spent most of the time playing with the dish, which had moved somewhat. I find that between the sort of winter, summer, etc., the ground, because it's just sitting on some concrete slabs, the ground moves quite considerably and requires alignment, and it moves slowly, so you aren't always aware of how far it has actually gone. So we aligned that up, which improved things no end, in and back down. Also, Bint's a cheap metal dish. It's showing its signs of the rust coming through, so we've sprayed it front and back with some hammerite, which is now looking quite posh, and keeping it a little bit less worse for wear, shall we say. What else? PA I think it's working okay. It runs quite cool. It's sitting under the dish, probably running about 30 watts, I think 30-35 watts at the moment. Just one of those GPL ones from Poland. Apart from that, not really a lot to add. So as there's a lot of people on, I'll keep it short. I may not make it back for another one because my son's due to give me a phone call. So if I don't reply, it's because I'm on the phone. But good to see everybody, and if I don't make it back, I'll see you next week.
the observant of you will notice I seem to be requiring a little bit more power. I think it's due to trees impinging on the anyway, on the path. Right, so let's go back to my normal picture. Hope everyone is alright. Everyone's showing lots of exciting things they've done. I've not really done very much, but I'll come back to that. Have I frozen again? That is a bit annoying if I have. So we will see. Yeah, it's frozen again. It'll come back. Might take a few seconds, but it should unfreeze itself. Sorry about that. This is this Windows messing around with the codecs. I don't know what's happened, but everything was working fine, and then it stopped. You're looking at the power meter now. I was going to show a picture of a few things that arrived, and I guess they'll not be necessarily visible, but yeah, it's diving again. I don't know what's happened to the codec, but I'm going to have to reinstall all of them. I think there's an issue here. So sorry about that, but all the H.265 ones are perfect. It's only H.264 that's having these problems, but there you go. Basically, never do a Windows update. Okay, well, that's the problem with the H.265 codec, and if anyone knows why it's doing this, please
Okay, clearly a few issues there. Right. Oh dear, not some issues there. Right, what I wanted to talk about just quickly was the Langston. Thanks to Colin for all his work on it. This is my Langston. It's been taken over by John JTT at the moment. He was the last station on it before I pulled out the plug. So that's the long bin tuner working on the Langston. If I touch the screen, I'll go back to that, and then we get back to the Portsdown main menu. And what I've now done, I haven't got transmit working yet, I've just got receive working, but receive does work, and VLC works particularly well. It seems I can decode every H.265 signal I've tried on the satellite so far, so really impressed with it. Menu 2, go to Langston there, and then all of a sudden it's a Langston. Going to work with Colin to be able to switch back, but basically two things in one box. Just let that load up, and there we go. So really impressed with that. Seems to all be going very well, and I had a couple of contacts on it last week. The other thing I've been playing with, where is it? Here is probably a bit too much reflection there. I put my my Raspberry Pi high quality camera in a metal box. The box is far too big, but it protects the camera, and I've got an HDMI socket on the back, that little hole there, you can just see an HDMI socket, so I can plug it in place of any of my other cameras. But it is a bit more fussy on HDMI leads because it uses a much higher data rate on the HDMI. Terry, you seem to have a big video problem on your signal once you went off with the test card. I'm just going to take this around and give you a scary shot. Hang on, let's just zoom out. There we go. Right. Sorry about the lighting, but slightly better than Paul's. Good to see the 38 gig kit. That looks really interesting, Paul. Sean, yeah, I reckon it's probably Wi-Fi. You were killing your own Wi-Fi on your signal there. Jim, very good video tonight. Really impressive. So nice to see you in good shape. Okay, that's it from me. If I ask everybody to keep their second over short because we're running out of time, let's go round to Colin, G4KLB, and then we'll try Gonzo again. So Colin next, G4KLB to take it, GHGKQ and the BATC net.
Oh, some power came up then. It might be working. Oh, some power came up. Right, okay then. Well, I've had a bit of a wrestle this week. One thing and another. First half of the week went brilliantly. It hasn't actually been that bad the second half really, but I've been trying to sort out an audio issue that I've encountered on both of my port stands. I've been unable to do so. This is the best option doing this. So I can't show my Raspberry Pi camera now that the lens has finally turned up for it. I used one of the other lenses and it didn't really, it was just like miles away like Dave said it would be. But this works quite well actually, so not too bad at all. Got some TCXOs turned up for a Pluto. I'm trying these Maranta ones, the 0.2 parts per million. So we'll give them a go. I got a couple of them. So I had to do a DigiKey order. That's where they came from. They've got them in stock there. Okay, that's it. I won't hog it because there's a lot of stations on. Anyway, 7.3s and hopefully catch you all next time round. G4KLB.
Right, sorry, I didn't realise I was on the wrong screen. Anyway, good evening all, second time around. I forgot to mention something earlier actually. I saw a tweet today or yesterday, whenever it was, basically about a Chimera piece of software, KIMERA, transmits any video source over a Lime SDR, decodes as an emulated camera, etc. Can use NVIDIA GPU hardware for acceleration. I haven't read into it much, but it appears to be some amateur, now I'm going to say this wrong, but Luigi Cruz possibly. Anyway, it appears to be using GNU radio. It's coming out on 1274, so 23 SEMS band. But it seems to be a complete receiver and everything in there, so I think that probably requires a little bit more reading. But anyway, so with that, I don't really have much else to add. I shall pass it round, and the next person can take over. G7 JTT.
One, two. Right, hopefully I've got audio now. Still having issues with OBS and audio working 1 minute and not the next minute. As you can see, I've dramatically improved the lighting with a whole single white LED lamp, which is here. So yes, nice to see everyone. I'll keep my over short. I know I look a little bit dishevelled. I'm not a hobo, I promise. and I'm still getting nagged by the wife to go and have a haircut and possibly even a shave. So wish everyone 7-3, and see you all next week. Mike 0 Echo Yankee Tango.
Yes, nice to see everyone. I'll keep my over short. I know I look a little bit dishevelled. I'm not a hobo, I promise. And I'm still getting nagged by the wife to go and have a haircut and possibly a shave. See you all next week. Mike 0 Echo.
I can hear audio. Okay. I think it was me next. G0DQH. I'll just show you my new call sign. My daughter the idea, and she actually did that. Took her a couple of evenings to do, but there you go. Let's have a look at my signal in a minute. No, I think we're okay. Anyway, one of the things I wanted just for a moment, the power supply I'm running, and I've got several of these, is the Nemic Lambda HWS 624, and this is 27 amps output. I use this one in the PA, and it's pretty darn good. Power factor corrected, of course, would have to be with this size. 24 volts at 27 amps. It'll go to 28, but no higher because the over voltage will trigger. But super bit of kit. Got a fan in it as well. When the picture catches up with me, there we go. So it's a super bit of kit. With that, I'll call it an evening and just pop you back to my new call sign, and I'll see you all next week. And I hope you picked all this up in Barnstable, Barry, G0EYF. I know you're probably Wigan down there. Barry and I go back a long, long time when we worked for a cable TV company in Barnstable. Some 50 years ago, would you believe?
Okay, I think I'm on. We'll see how that goes. I wasn't sure if Jim had finished there because I was having a little bit of trouble decoding. It was getting a few seconds and then stuttering in a few seconds again, but yeah, just one little picture on there at the moment. That is, the top one is regular Cat5 cable, network cable, and the one underneath is Cat6A separately screened twin cores, or separately screened twisted pairs. Yeah, I don't have any plugs for the Cat6A. I wrongly assumed it was the same. So there we go. That's how much I know about network cabling. But it looks like really nice cable. So that's going to be running up the mast very soon once I get some plugs. And hopefully that'll cure quite a lot of the broadband noise that the Pluto on the network generates at the top of the mast. We're going into 2 meters there. Just a quick look at the actual box itself. This is what it was looking like. There we go. Yeah, it is going to work. Right. Let that settle down a bit. So yes, there's a panel antenna on the back. That's the A-span boards on the top there. That's the receiver one, and the transmit one's underneath. It's just kind of like cobbled together at the moment. And the relay in the back, there is the Pluto and network adapter and a power supply, and then the hub and a few things underneath. and that's I think probably about a 17 dB panel, something like that, maybe on 3.4 gigs. It's not particularly big. So yeah, I just had that basically clagged on top of the mast. So there we are, and that's one of them little audio dongles I've picked up here. Got a couple of them just to make life a bit easier. So that's it for now. I might pop on just after the net if there were a couple of other things, but we shall see. So yeah, right, where we at, camera, that one. Right, so yeah, if I don't come back on, then 7.3, and we'll see you all next week. Try and find some more projects to make progress on. It gives a little bit of motivation having to come on here and a little bit of preparation, so there's a bit more motivation to get something done, rather than just coming on and going, I haven't done out this week. But there we go. Right, 7.3 for now. 0 DTS.
Right. Okay, I think we're in. Just about. Let's mute the sound. I think what people suggested, I probably was getting a little bit of Wi-Fi breakthrough when I was attempting to use my iPad. We'll give it another quick go and see if this works. Now, give you a quick shot of the shack. There we are. No, it's frozen again, hasn't it? No, it's frozen again. So it was working perfectly earlier on as well. But there we are. That's always the way of things. So I wish everyone a very good evening. Very enjoyable net again, and look forward to speaking to you next week. This is G8 VPG going off and play now.
All right. Hopefully. Right, a little bit better. Apologies for trying something untested before with the 1/2. Here we go. Hopefully some people are getting us. Keep it very short for those that aren't. The only thing I've really got to show extra is this one. This is the new transmitter for GB3KM. So we've got a HD video converter coming in. We're trying to keep everything in the HDMI domain. So we're coming in with HDMI, and we do have composite out of the first unit there for the analog transmitters for the 3 SEMS and the 13 SEMS transmitters on GB3KM. Then into the usual encoder box in the Pluto, and then out again. So that will be the new transmitter for 23 SEMS digital on GB3KM. All right, thanks everybody, and good to see all the pictures again, and everybody stay safe, and 7.3s from me. Bye all.
Okay, G4EML. Yeah, it was much better that time. Sure, that was good pictures this time, so no problems at all. Just mute my audio from the receiver. I need to automate that somehow. Yes, very good signals from most people this second time round. So thanks for the the pictures from all. Okay, Mike, on your Windows updates thought. Yes, I've got the same thought. I don't think the Windows updates are a great thing, but it's quite difficult to turn them off. I don't know if it's possible to turn them off completely. I think if you can defer them, but I think eventually it nags you so much that you have to install them, which is a little bit annoying. Rob, on the Langston, yeah, it seems to be working well on the mast there. It's interesting that you managed to do that, and it wasn't an original thought about doing it that way, but it does make a lot of sense to put the unit remotely, and I think I have to start thinking about along same sort of lines. Dave and combining it with ports down, I think that's going to be very popular if we get that working nicely. One thing I'm going to do, I noticed when you tried to switch to Langston, it did take a long time to start. Some of that delay is artificial. It's because of normally it starts on booting up the Pi, and I think perhaps we can speed that up a little bit. I need to work out exactly what to look for. But when the Pi powers up, it's the Pluto's not ready to go until some 15 or 20 seconds after you start the Pi up. So, but I think once it's up and running, as it would be in that case, it would probably be possible to start it up a little bit quicker. That's about it from me, I think. Nothing much else to report. I shall keep it short and put it round to whoever comes next. I've completely forgotten who that is. KOE, I think it was last time. G4EML.
Right, I'd better come up. I think KOE said he was leaving, but do shout on the chat if you're about to reappear. I'm afraid I've had to give up on the H.264 encoder. I don't know what's happened here, but something has written a new encoder, and it doesn't work, and that's very strange. The H.265 encoder is fine and still working, but the H.264 one is just outputting junk, and it's causing problems. But there we are. This is what I was trying to show you before. Well, this is the box for the new Pluto controlling device. Like everyone else, I think I'm going to have them separate. So this thing will be in the shack where it comes in useful, and I'll print a new box with various controls on it, or make a box with various controls on it, and put the Pluto up with the microwave stuff. These are some other things I've been trying. I don't know if anyone's interested in these, but off eBay or Amazon, they're just micro USB hubs which help you use the Pluto remotely, give you the ability to plug in the Ethernet and a memory card if you want to. So that's the various bits. The other thing that comes to mind is the needs more power. Wow, I've got a pretty good signal here, but you can have more power. Sorry. The other thing that comes to mind is the Lime SDR and the Langston. For those people who haven't got Plutos, I think the only difference, apart from not getting up to 6Ms, is the source and sync that you use in GNU Radio. So it should be a very simple task to go from one to the other with a little bit of messing about with the flow graph. So I might try looking at that, but I've not done it yet. The other thing I'd be interested to know is, can the Pi 3 run the software or not? But we will see. Anyway, I guess it's time to go. So 7-3 everybody, keep well. And I'll maybe be on next week and try and get a little bit more done this time. But it's been a very hard week for work. Very, very busy indeed. 7-3.
Okay, thanks a lot. Oh, that could cause a problem. Let's just wait and see. Oh, we're okay, right. I have had a few issues with bits of equipment over this side. Fortunately, the repeater's gone very well. I've got all the receivers in, and we started getting stations in from, you know, far and wide. We're going to have another little go after the net now. We're about LES trying to give us a 1 megasymbol signal. It didn't work on the net as usual, but the rest of the time it obviously works. So it's a bit bizarre, but there we go. Yeah, I spent 2 days trying to find an audio problem, and I haven't found it yet. I'm not quite sure what it is. Even the webcam, the Logitech, back on the old software or the current release, still was playing up. I couldn't understand it really. But anyway, we'll persevere and we'll get there in the end. So that's not the last. Why it wouldn't come on just now was because I switched my camera to 16:9. I set the format to 16:9 on ports down, and it went to TX, but it actually locked up. And it did that twice in a row. So I was panicking away there. So I put it back to 4:3, and it was happy then. It all lit up as if it was going to work, because you can't really tell until you put the power to the PA. I was all prepared, so I thought, and nothing happened. Then I went to press TX off, and it was locked up. So there we are. So it's been the ports down has stressed me, even though it is one of my favourite things. Oh dear. You just get weeks like that occasionally, I'm sure. But anyway, I better not hang about, because we're past the time already. Anyway, thanks for giving me a second go. So I was a bit late because we were playing on SQ. Though it didn't really matter by the look of it. Okay then, Sem3's G4KLB.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you all for having quicker second overs on the second time round. Yeah, Sean, the video did exactly the same as last time. Terry, I'm not sure what video coder you're using, but it didn't perform too well, certainly in the first over there. A bit better on the second over. Audio problems, Colin. Yeah, I've been looking at that a lot. Your transmission just now was perfect. I wonder if you can tell me on the chat what audio source you were using for the transmission just now, because that seemed fine. But what I found was, with the ports down, if you have C920 selected and you use the easy cap, there were occasional dropouts in the audio, and the dropouts cause a big click. Now, if you've got the easy cap as the video source, the dropouts happen, but the click doesn't. I got rid of the click, I thought, on that development build, but sorry, I got rid of the dropouts on that development build, but it may be a Raspberry Pi specific thing, so we need to look at that a bit more. Okay, thank you all for coming on tonight. I would commend you to have a look at the activity ladder when the email comes out about it, and get on the air this weekend and start using it, because it's a BATC activity weekend. Thanks all for coming on. Same time, same place next week. G8 GKQ closing the BATC QO-100 net and open channel. Good night all.
Right, it should be coming up now. Yes, there we are. But it's very hicking up. Good evening, BATC from ZS1 Mike in Worcester, South Africa. I hope you can read me. I'm on 2.3. Don't know why it's hesitating now. Anyway, let's not hog the frequency. A very good evening from South Africa, from ZS1 Mike.
That should be better.
Yeah, that's working fine there at the moment, Tony.
Yeah, it's just too high on the video rate. Somehow it crept in. I mustn't have saved my settings when I set it up. The 500 kilobits, which is too much.
Right, yeah, it's just dropping out now and again, depends on who's on. Right, I'm just going to put a signal up at the top end and put a couple of things on, see if anyone's interested in that. There we go, but yeah, that's definitely working better too. Right, is that working? Let's see. Just make sure. Yeah, it is. I forgot to extend it again, didn't I?
How many guys were on tonight?
There we go. Right, yeah, I was playing around with where are we at? Playing around with something to do with GUI and things, because looking at the Langston and looking at the GUIs and stuff, and I was Googling, as you do. And I came across something called Raylib. I don't know whether Dave or Colin have played with that before, whether it's been an option, I don't know. But it looks quite interesting. So I did a little bit of playing around with that to figure out how easy it is to draw on the screen and things like that, and it seems quite good, but it's kind of like a whole redesign of the system. But let's see if I can do a capture. Oh, let me do actually. Where's desktop capture? Oh, that's somewhere. Let's just scan through here. Desktop capture. Display capture. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, shout if it's not interesting, but give it a go. Right, let's just compile it. Basically, I've just made a little GUI the same size as what the 800 by 480, the same as the Pi screen. Few buttons on the bottom, and kind of made a little pop-up. So just compile this and see whether this loads up. Seemingly it does. Well, I've tried it and it does work on the let's just make sure that's actually transmitting. Yeah, that's coming up okay. Let me just put that in the corner for now, so I know it's on. Yeah, basically just made a little GUI that pops up here. Yeah, obviously messed something up there, but let's just turn that volume down. Basically, you can do is that you can use the touch input and things like that. This is just with the mouse thing over it at the moment, but you can have like multiple. You can create pop-ups from menus and things like that rather easily. It doesn't seem too complicated to do. You can put sliders on there and things like that. Let's just see if let's just recompile that. It was quite interesting anyway. Yeah, so you can do these little sliders as well, so I was thinking we could use these for I've obviously broke that as well. It doesn't work with the mouse clicking, it's looking for the touch, but it does seem to run okay on the Raspberry Pi 4, but you have on the Pi 4 you need to be in desktop mode to get it to work, I think. There's some sort of compatibility. Pi 3 seems fully compatible, but I have managed to draw a waterfall and a spectrum on it and things like that. It just seems quite an interesting library to use to draw, and it does access the GPU and things like that. So oh, you can see why I'm using C#, Mike. Yes, it just makes it so much easier to do things. I've got I don't know how many programs in C# that I use now. That's me desktop. Minimize that. This is C++, what that example was in. But anyway, that project is called Relib. If you look at it on, or the library, sorry, if you Google, well, you go to relib.com, it's on there. It supports Windows, Mac, Pi. You can even do it in HTML5 and things. And it does have kind of bindings to other languages and things as well, so it's seems quite interesting anyway. But there was an example with like sliders and stuff on there. So yeah, there's little sliders that you can slide up and down, so like volume controls, power controls, things like that. You could have them pop up on the screen, or VU meter and all that sort of thing. It would just kind of make it possible to do. And then there's also other examples where you can kind of do camera angles, shadows and all that sort of stuff if you want to get creative with all that, but can't really do that at the moment. But yeah, it looks quite interesting. I did get something it's kind of panning around an area and stuff like that. You could have a 3D waterfall if you really wanted and things. But it seems to be quite well supported, so I thought it was worth mentioning. So yeah, Relib, R-A-Y-L-I-B. So it's just, yeah, I'm compiling it in Windows there. There's not a great deal of code. What is the whole thing's 150 lines of code, and a lot of it is white space, well, just empty spaces, and then comments at the top. There's not a great deal in it really. So yeah, I was just looking at doing that. So I'll play a little bit more with that if I can see how it goes. But it seems like you can do quite a lot of things. It'd be probably quite a useful thing to learn for doing nice graphical look, kind of like floating around logos around your screen and things like that for TV and stuff. Seems like it isn't too difficult to do it. So yeah, it could be something to use in the future. I quite like the look of it, so I'll have a bit more twiddle around with that and see what's what. Is there anything else to talk about? I don't think so. I don't know whether I can go back to the camera because I think I disconnected it, didn't I? Webcam, where are we at? Video. Right. That is the bench. It's rather zoomed in. Why is that? Property. Yeah. Video. Let's see if I can. Is that just zoomed in or something? Yeah, it is. Alright, look, there I am. I am there, you know. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, don't think there's a great deal else to talk about there. So we'll say 7-3 and catch you next week, unless anyone's got any more comments. I'm 0DTS.